G'day YouTube, warbles on a lot here. 12th of September, midday, raining, 13.4 since 9. And in the 24 hours to 9 o'clock we'd had 8.7 millimetres. Now previously we had received about half a millimetre of rain one night, and I went over there while it was raining and I was very, very pleased to see no leaks from the roof. And I thought, yahoo, yippee, I've got a shed which keeps the rain out. Just like this one does, and has for the past 34 years. But it didn't always look like this, and that didn't always look the way that it does now. Once upon a time, this actually began as this. 32, 33 years ago this would be. I originally started building the shed on logs 34 years ago. At this point, as you can see, the shed has acquired guttering on one side of it with a downpipe feeding a 200 litre drum. The water heater's there, and before 33 or so years of asymmetric loading on a folded Warren girder made it sway felt, yeah, the pooping a la mode toilet used to stand up straight. More or less, kind of sort of thing. But the reason I was able to readily fit guttering onto the 3 by 3.77 metre Victor Traco lawn locker, purchased for something like $1,000 as a cardboard box kit, and then lined with I think about $300 worth of 25 millimetre foam slab insulation glued there with liquid nails, some of which failed, but most of it still maintaining its grip sort of thing. There's a bit where it let go on the edge, but that does come under extraordinary mechanical load because that's where the door slides into the clothes cupboard. But I digress. Anyway, this morning when we'd had about 8 or 9 millimetres of rain, I went over to have a look and see how well the roof of the new shed was holding up. And yeah, wet as a bastard. And there is condensation on the inside of the roof. Sure, there's condensation. Where I touched it a few hours ago, there's even droplets coalescing. Whoop. That there looks like it might be an actual leak. That there looks like it might be an actual leak. But most of the time it seems okay. However, to prevent any further leakiness, I think I'm going to seal down along there with some silicone. The whole roof will cop that. Same time I fix the windows, before I put the $856 or $867 or something worth of foam all over the place. But I was very, very disappointed to see this. However, I was instantly thrown back to what it says in the owner's manual, and it cautions against trying to glue the bottom of the shed to the concrete, because they reckon if you do that, look at this, friggin' puddles. if you do that, that might prevent water from getting back out. Now, if you have a look at this, that fancy smart-ass clip track that they've got, it's getting filled up from the outside by water running down the outside of the walls. It's then overflowing on the outside onto the top of the concrete slab, and then it's running in. And the reason it's so bloody deep at the corner is because there's nothing to stop the water that's falling down into that channel from then coming through that crack and filling up that corner until the water level inside gets to be higher than the water level outside, and then it goes back out again. Here's more falling in there. And here's what I perceive to be the problem. Yeah, did you see that? That's what goes on. The water comes running down the roof. It gets intercepted by this little structural rail, which has holes running all the way along the bloody thing. Come on, give me some lights. Let me show the hole. There's the finger. And can we see the hole? No, a bit difficult to see in that light. Anyway, big row of holes. And that's where the water is falling out of there, straight down and filling that up. And there's nothing to allow the water to drain back out there. So what I propose to do is to run silicone around the bottom there and seal that from the outside, and do the same on the inside. And then on the inside I will glue this track to the slab, so the water that falls down to here can't get in, and it might come out. I don't know, I might have to go around and drill a single bloody drain hole into each one of those fucking water traps. Don't know whether I'll get quite that far, because part of my game plan is to contrive to hang a gutter onto here and catch all that shit. So I shouldn't have to deal with anything other than rain hitting the walls and running down. I hope not to have the roof pissing on the footings as well. And then catch the gutter here and run it across to connect to a gutter that'll dangle down here and run down along there. And the idea, in theory, if it works, wouldn't it be nice if, is to be able to take the runoff from this shed and feed it across into that prism frame pool. But the way the penny pinching, miserable, money grubbing, production engineering obsessed arseholes at ABSCO sheds have contrived to fob this shit off onto me, they've made it as difficult as possible to actually use the shed for anything that doesn't want to be getting wet. If you take a little bit of a look up here, 45 millimetres between the edge of the wall and the outer edge of that C-section grab rail. The entire bloody thing is carefully contrived to piss all over its own wall footings and constantly wash the floor with water. Oh yes, only suitable for garden tools. So we have our $1,200 electric brush cutter sitting in a puddle of water because the fucking half-wits at ABSCO sheds couldn't organise to get themselves kissed in a brothel, let alone get fucked there. Apparently, is that not true? So yeah, that's the state of play with the $2,000 2023 manufactured ABSCO garden shed facsimile. Now we compare that to the $1,000 1991 Victor Traco lawn locker, wherein at the wall panels are screwed onto a central rib to take the wind loadings. And oh dear, look at that, 80 millimeters. So you've got twice the overhanging of the eaves, which means, and it might actually be 100, because I'm pretty sure from memory I got these 4x2 24-foot long chainsaw milled purlins, and I got them underneath the edge of that roof, and then I stuck the corrugated iron under the roof and let it come down, so there would absolutely certainly be no chance of water from the roof of the hut coming underneath the veranda. And then after 25 years I added another layer, a second roof over the top. I might have had the framing wrong on that one. Zoom button malfunction, shall we say. And yeah, same over here. I've stuck the wood as far up underneath the roof of the original shed as possible. But yeah, if this is their idea of a garden shed, I don't think much of their idea. I would say this is a facsimile of a garden shed, but seeing as its roof is contrived to piss on the footings of its own walls and funnel as much water as well, you wind up with a U-shaped channel being filled with water and leaking as much as it wants inside as it does outside. Two ends and the middle bit of a miserable mongrel penny pinching bastard of a setup. Such is life in the big city. And here's one thing that I really did forget. I was so busy helping to put eucalyptus leaves in front of the helicopter trowel machine on my daughter's slab that I forgot to come down here and apply either one of my father's moulding tools while this was still soft enough to do anything to, and then I completely forgot it entirely, so even when it was sort of cheesy soft, I didn't think anything about it until I took the wooden formwork off. So I guess I can get a masonry grinding wheel to stick on my angle grinder, or I can just drill a few holes with a masonry bit, stick a few bits of metal in there and mould a concrete 45-degree lip. And I'm really kind of sort of leaning towards the lip option. But yeah, I'm going to have to turn the shed into something that keeps the rain out, because the way ABSCO supplied it, no, it doesn't. And they acknowledge it very, very subtly at the back end of their bloody operations construction manual by saying it's not a good idea to glue it straight onto the concrete because that might make it difficult for water to get out. And sure, if you run around and glue the bottom of that U channel to the concrete, it'll fill up with water and piss all over your silicon. I realise that in a free market economy it is lawful to sell not fit for purpose, bright shiny landfill. I didn't fucking realise I was going to buy a chunk of it that big. Warbles on a lot to YouTube. ABSCO sheds. You want me to leave a review? Do you? Well, come on to my YouTube channel, ABSCO Sheds, and open your fucking eyes and pay attention. Maybe lift your game, because you're not going to get a pleasant, kindly word out of me at all, really. I can't think of anything that's going to put a bright, pleasant, shiny spin on this. I think you're a bunch of mercenary, money-grubbing arseholes, and whatever goes wrong in your life, it's not fucking enough. It's not fucking enough. So aren't you lucky that it's not me who's in charge of disseminating and distributing the appropriate karma to fuckwits? Warbles on a lot to YouTube and ABSCO. Why can't you at least contrive to construct your sheds so that they will rain outside their own footings, drop their runoff outside their own footings? 34 years ago, people selling garden sheds knew what they were doing, and they supplied a product that actually made sense and functioned. And okay, if you really wanted to push it, you could live in a lawn locker with delusions of adequacy. Honestly, it's no fucking wonder I don't try to live in the middle of a town or a city. I really would perturb the norms. Such is life. Ciao.